This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel, and I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. Don't construe anything that I mentioned in this video as investment advice. Always do your own research before doing anything with your money. All right, so today I really want to have a serious discussion with you about how to survive the upcoming economic collapse. Actually, it's not upcoming. It's already started, and you all know what I'm talking about. If you go over to YouTube and do a search for Hey Ed, you'll see my channel. And if you click on the videos button there, you can see all of the videos that I've done so far. And I cover all sorts of very interesting, very important topics that you should know about. You should take time to go through some of these and find topics that you might find interesting. And then hit the subscribe button, and you might want to even hit the alert button so that you can get an alert when I do a new video. And if you wouldn't mind, please give this video a like, because it does help the algorithm. Okay, so for about 3 days now, I've been putting together all sorts of slides and a pretty elaborate presentation, because there's so much going on in the world that I really feel a sense of urgency to tell you about. And then upon reflection, I thought, you know what, I want to respect your time, and I want to get right to it. I am going to throw some numbers at you, because it is important to paint the proper picture for you. Okay, so let me start with inflation. Now, the official inflation number right now is now running at 9.1%. But you know what? In their infinite stupidity, the government a while back decided to take out two key elements of the economy: food and energy. I mean, look, okay, so we'll take out food and energy. So that 9.1% number does not include food and energy. All right. So is there anybody out there who doesn't eat food or doesn't use energy? I mean, these government numbers, they're corrupt. These are political animals, right? If they put those numbers back in to that number like they should, the inflation rate is really running at 17.3%. 17%. And for a lot of us, depending on which part of the country you're in, that number is probably in the 20s. This is this is very serious time in history. And in hindsight, it's not going to be a very pleasant time in history. But think back though. What if during the Great Depression, let's say, you were able to buy, luxury cars or luxury property for pennies on the dollar? Well, if you were able to do that, then coming out of the Great Depression, you would have made a fortune. And many people did. That's one of the little untold stories of economic history, is that coming out of the Great Depression, an awful lot of millionaires were made because some people were able to acquire property and other stuff for pennies on the dollar during the Depression. Okay, so we're in one of those moments in history where you could be in a position to do the exact same thing. And what I'm going to share with you in today's video is how to do it, okay? You don't have to be a victim in the upcoming economic collapse. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so some numbers you need to know about. The national debt right now is over $30 trillion. It has increased by 35% in just a matter of a couple of years. That is the largest expansion of national debt in history in terms of speed. Right. So we have a $30 trillion national debt, which was serviceable when interest rates were real low. But now interest rates are coming up, and there's going to be hell to pay. We're even starting to see cracks in the real estate market. Okay. And personally, I think that the upcoming real estate disaster could be worse than 2008, 2009. For those of you who are old enough to remember, those were pretty scary times. Citigroup's profits fell 27% last quarter, largely due to people not being able to make payments on their mortgages. Okay, these are the first cracks, all right? And you saw the same thing happening at Wells Fargo. Things are starting to appear. These are all things that I've been talking about for many months on my channel. Not only did I predict that these would happen, I told you when they would happen, and it's playing out exactly as I told you they would. Anybody with a little bit of experience and with their eyes open can see what's going on. The problem is when people put blinders on and they're not paying attention. Now, you got to ask yourself, are these people at the Federal Reserve incompetent? or do they have an agenda? And there's a good case to be made on both sides there, right? But either way, that's not good. The Federal Reserve's mandate is supposed to be to fight inflation. Well, they have screwed that up big time. Inflation right now is at a 40-year high. If they're going to fight inflation properly, they have to bump the Federal Reserve's rate well over the rate of inflation. So if they're going to be serious about fighting inflation, they're going to have to move interest rates up dramatically. Now, they're in a real tight spot. I have no sympathy for them. They created this tight spot themselves. If they move interest rates up too fast, we're heading into hyperinflation. If they don't raise them fast enough, we're heading toward an actual depression. They've got a very small needle that they need to thread. And personally, I don't think they're up for it. And what does that mean for you? That means you have to do things now. Actually, you should have started doing these things months ago when I first started warning you about them. But better late than never. So, let's get started on it now. Okay, so for almost 8 months now, I've been giving you my 3-step approach for handling this economy, not only surviving it, but also thriving in it. Step number 1 is you have to reduce your exposure to the traditional financial system, namely your banks. Okay, the reason being, when the next financial crisis hits, they're going to steal your money. Any money you have sitting in your bank is not legally considered your money. Did you know that? You're considered a creditor, right? It's not considered your money. Now, in the last financial crisis, we solved the problem with what's called bailouts, right? Where they used our money to bail out the banks in order to save the financial system. Well, next time around, there's not going to be the political will to do a bailout. The public will not. We're talking pitchforks and torches here. The public will not go for it. So these evil creatures in Congress and at the WEF and at the International Monetary Fund, they came up with this evil scheme called bail-in laws. Yeah, how creative, right? Went from bail-out laws to bail-in laws. So what that law says is during the next financial crisis, the banks can legally go into your bank account and take your money and use your money to buy shares in their bank in order to prop up the bank. So congratulations, you're going to be a shareholder in a failing bank. That's going to be their solution. Okay, so when the next financial crisis happens, this is the way it's going to happen. We're going to wake up one day to a headline saying that a major New York bank is insolvent. It's not going to be a gradual thing. I promise you, the way it's going to, because they can't afford to have it be gradual. It's going to be an all of a sudden thing. You're going to wake up and you're going to see news that X bank is insolvent, okay? And within hours, maybe even minutes of that bank making that announcement, you're going to see all the other major banks making the same announcement, okay? And when they do that, you're going to get in your car, you're going to drive to your bank because you want to get your money out. Well, guess what? You're going to get there and the doors are going to be locked. You're not going to be able to get in. Even if you were able to stick your foot in the door just before they close the door and ask for your money, they're not going to give you all of it. They're going to give you pennies on the dollar of your money. Because these banks they only give a small portion of what's actually on the books in reserves. You're not going to be able to get your money out. So you got to get at least a chunk of your money out of the bank. So reduce your exposure to the banks. Okay, so I can't help you with that first problem. You either do that or you don't. Okay, so let's say you do that. All right, so problem number 1, taken care of. You got a large, now you do want to keep something in the bank, okay? I mean, we are still in a fiat-based economy. You do have to pay bills. What I do personally is I keep about 2 to 3 months worth of bill paying in the bank. Everything else I take out of the bank, all right? So you want to have something, in the bank. But other than that, get at least something out of the bank. Get some cash in hand, all right? So you solved one problem, but now you still have that other problem. You're sitting on fiat currencies. In our case, in America, it's US dollars. Okay. If you're sitting in a different country, it's in your particular fiat currencies, right? Okay, well, fiat currencies are a guaranteed losing investment, okay? If interest rate right now is running at, let's call it 15%, all right? Well, then that means your buying power is going down by 15%. It's a guaranteed loss. So any fiat currencies that you have sitting either in your bank account or in your wallet is a losing investment. It's a guaranteed loss, all right? Okay, so that leads us to solution number 2. All right. Take some of the money that you just pulled out of the bank and buy some of this gold and silver. Okay. You got to do these. Now, you don't buy gold and silver necessarily to make a lot of money. However, I do think that in the next financial crisis, gold and silver are going to have their day in the sun. I think they are going to move up in value very substantially. But that's not the main reason why you buy gold and silver. You buy gold and silver in order to maintain your buying power, okay? Because inflation is eating away at your fiat currencies, okay? Fiat currencies, listen, you have to understand that in the history of the world, fiat currencies, okay, that's government issued money, has a perfect record. It has a 100% failure rate. Every fiat currency that has ever existed has failed. Every single one. Now, it's true that the US dollar has been around the longest, all right? And it is still, for the moment, considered the world reserve currency. But even that is under attack right now. And we'll leave that topic for a different video. But fiat currencies is just paper. It's made up stuff. The only reason why it's currency is because everyone agrees that it's currency. There have been some civilizations in the past that used, seashells at one point, for their currency. Remember when Roman soldiers used to be paid in salt as their salary. So whatever people agree is money, is considered money. Well, it's not really money, it's currency. The only money in the world is this, gold and silver. This is the only money. Everything else is just currency. And currency, paper bills, it's made up stuff. And consider this, that there's value in scarcity. That's why gold and silver will always retain their value, all right? That is why, rare paintings and vintage automobiles are valuable because of scarcity. Well, 40% of all US currencies in existence were created in the past 2.5 years alone. So they've been printing money like they're thinking that there's no consequence to any of it. But the consequence is inflation. Okay, so the buying power of your fiat currencies are going down. Okay, so you got to take some of that money and put it into gold and silver. Not all of it, okay? You still want to have some cash on hand for doing the usual stuff for living life, right? But you got to have some gold and silver to maintain some buying power. And step number 3 is develop streams of passive recurring income. All right, now a year ago, it was nice to have passive recurring income. It's always nice to have extra money, right? But now it's not a matter of it being nice. Now it's a matter of necessity. People's lives have been turned upside down in the past year, okay, upside down. And it is accelerating. Anybody who does any kind of grocery shopping, anybody who fills up the gas tank knows exactly what I'm talking about. And it's going to get worse for a whole host of reasons that I won't go into in this video. But I'm not telling you anything controversial, right? It's coming. So you have to develop streams of passive recurring income. Now, so I'm not talking about side hustles, like driving complete strangers around in your car, in your city, or doing somebody's grocery shopping, or mowing your neighbor's grass for extra money. Don't get me wrong. That's all legitimate. That's all honest work. And I applaud you for that. That's a noble effort. Now I'm talking about streams of passive recurring income. Passive means you don't have to work for it, right? And recurring means it happens all the time. You keep getting it. You got to develop streams of passive recurring income. And on my channel, I've given you some programs, some online businesses that you can do that will generate passive recurring income for you. And in every one of those programs, you can either be passive and just collect the money you're making off the program on your own account, or you can build teams, refer other people to the programs and make the real big money on that. And, and once you develop, so it might be a little bit work up front, sharing the idea with some people. Again, you don't have to, but if you can put a little effort in up front in bringing people into those programs and you're making money off of them, then at some point, it's self-perpetuating. They take care of themselves. That's the dream, right? You want to get to the point where you have multiple streams, not just one. You don't want to just do one program because you never know what you don't know, right? You want to develop several streams of passive recurring income. Once you get to a certain point, there's nothing left for you to do. You're just collecting that free money every month. Let's say you set as a goal the idea of the idea of creating $200 a day in passive recurring income. All right. That is very doable. That's a very reasonable objective. Hey, $200 a day, 7 days a week, that's $6,000 a month. Okay. For some people, they can live on that. That replaces their income. But at the very least, it should keep you ahead of inflation, right? It should put out a lot of fires for you. So that's what I'm doing on my channel is, in addition to giving you some educational videos, I want to share with you some actual online business opportunities that you can put to work today and start creating some passive recurring income. Okay, so that's my 3-step plan for you. Is number 1, reduce your exposure to the bank. Number 2, put some of your money into gold and silver. And number 3, develop streams of passive recurring income. If you can do just those 3 things, okay, then you are bulletproof. Okay, and really, the only person who's going to help you is you. All right, the government is not going to be around to help you all the time, and anything the government gives you, the government can take away from you. Okay, you want to be independent. You want to secure your independence, your freedom, and the best way to do that is financially. Okay, and that's what this channel is about. Getting you to the point where you are a sovereign human being and you determine your own life. Okay. I would love to have you part of the Hey Ed community. I have a Hey Ed WhatsApp group, and if ever you sign up for one of the programs using my link, you're automatically eligible to join the Hey Ed WhatsApp group. It's a wonderful group of people, and we would all love to have you in the group. Let me just say that the Hey Ed group is here to help you, and we would love to have you in the community. Edward Anderson signing out.
Copy that.